Hey, I'm Josh Lindquist. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Today we're going to talk about how to have a fun tournament for your players in Dungeons and Dragons 5e. What I've found that works really well is to have your characters enter a city and let them know that there's a tournament happening in a day or two, and the characters can participate in it. There's no entry fee; they can just go ahead and do it, and have prizes for the different sections. The ones I like to do is an obstacle course, and then archery competition, dueling, and a joust. So you have four different areas that your players can participate in. So the way I like to break it down is, first off, for the obstacle course, this is for your characters that aren't super combat heavy, and it's a combination of athletics checks, acrobatics checks, and dexterity and strength saving throws. So the way I like to do it is I'll draw out a couple different segments and I'll say, okay, here's the DC difficulty of this segment, and describe to your players what they're doing. You know, it can be a dash through obstacles to a wall they have to climb up, and then jump over some swinging platforms, and go down a slide and then run through some more obstacles just to kind of add some narrative there. But definitely have it be an even combination of athletics, acrobatics, and then strength saving throws and dexterity saving throws. And keep track of your players. I like to do it in rounds, almost like combat, where I'll have a couple NPCs I make up that are competing with them, and then the players compete amongst themselves as well. And you don't just have everyone kind of roll in whatever order you determine. And I like to put dots underneath their names for each round they've gone. That way, if it takes someone a couple of rounds to hit a certain section, you know, to hit the DC for that dice or whatever, it kind of shows who's in what order of completion. And then for archery, I like to do three different sections. First, I like to do where each character has. It's up to you how many arrows you want to do. It can be three, it can be five, it can be seven. They want to hit the bullseye on the target as much as they can. So you can have them roll just basic ranged attacks. And don't worry about damage for this one. Just worry about how high their dice rolls are and average out all of their dice rolls. And whoever has the highest wins that section. And then the next one I like to do is horseback archery. So everyone will do an animal handling check and then an archery check. So it'll be, and then you average the two. So if they rolled a 10 on animal handling and then a 20 on archery, that would only be a 15 because you average them out. So do that, have them do that three times and average out the scores. Whoever wins that section of the archery tournament. And then the last one is hitting dummies, I call it. But you're basically letting them do attacks and seeing who has the highest damage. So the AC for your dummies is going to be 10, make them easy to hit. And then just total up who does the most damage, and that person wins that section. So that way you have three different sections, and whoever wins the most gets to win the archery tournament. For dueling, what I like to do, and again, excuse my Discord going off in the background, I don't know how to mute it right now. For the dueling, I like to do it where it's one-on-one combat, and when the NPCs they're fighting get down below 5 HP, they'll yield and surrender. And so that way it's not a fight to the death per se. But if someone gets knocked unconscious, you can have healers nearby to come and get the unconscious people up. Just narratively, it's not a fight to the death. Unless you want it to be, which it can totally do that. But to spice things up, I like to let my players at the start of their turn make a perception or an insight check where they'll roll. And the little way I do it is that if they get between a 1 and a 5, it actually makes their next attack less effective. But if they get above a 15, they can get a little boost to where it reduces the enemy AC by either 2 or 4. 4 is like over a 20, but 15 to 19 is -2. Just to make the enemy a little easier to hit. And narratively, how you can explain this is that, oh, you spot a gap in their armor, or you anticipate the opponent is going left, so you go right. Stuff like that. That kind of speeds along the combat and makes it a little more dynamic. So you can do that with brackets. Eventually having your players square off against each other is super fun. And then for jousting is the final event. There's a lot of cool rules out there online you can find. I like ones where you make an animal handling check and then an attack with your spear and kind of do a point system where if you get a certain range of rolls, it counts as 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points, and have players go 3 times against an NPC or against each other to see who wins the joust. I'll post in the description below my favorite joust rules so you can pull those up. There's some great homebrew ones online. But that's a fun way to make a dynamic and challenging tournament for your players. I hope you found this helpful. Post comments below if you have any questions or comments. I'd love to hear them, and thanks again for tuning in. Have a great day.